Good morning, family, and welcome to Morning Heart Devotion with Dr. Chung-Shik Yong, brought to you by our Heavenly Parent Holy Community. Let us begin by greeting our Heavenly Parent and true parents. Heung-Jin 샴푸님께 경배. 바로. Now I'd like to ask Reverend Milhan Stevens to lead us in the family pledge.
가정맹세 1. 천여급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본향 땅을 찾아 본연의 창조의 상인 지상 천국과 천상 천국을 창건할 것을 맹세하나이다. 2. 천여급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님을 모시어 천주의 대표적 가정이 되며 중심적 가정이 되어 가정에서는 효자, 국가에서는 충신, 세계에서는 성인, 천주에서는 성자의 가정의 도리를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 3. 천여급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 4대 심정권과 3대 왕권과 황족권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 4. 천여급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님의 창조의 상인 천주대 가족을 형성하여 자유와 평화와 통일과 행복의 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 5. 천여급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 매일 주체적 천상세계와 대상적 지상세계의 통일을 향해 전진적 발전을 촉진화할 것을 맹세하나이다. 6. 천여급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 하늘 부모님과 참 부모님의 대신 가정으로서 천운을 움직이는 가정이 되어 하늘의 축복을 주변에 연결시키는 가정을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 7. 천여급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 본연의 혈통과 연결된 위하는 생활을 통하여 심정문화 세계를 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다. 8. 천여급 주인 우리 가정은 참사랑을 중심하고 천여급 시대를 맞이하여 절대 신앙, 절대 사랑, 절대 복종으로 신인의 일체 이상을 이루어 지상 천국과 천상 천국의 해방권과 석방권을 완성할 것을 맹세하나이다.
And to open us up in prayer this morning, I'd like to invite Keiko King to lead us in prayer.
Please join me in the prayer. 사랑하는 정위하시는 하늘 부모님, 사랑하는 순리하시는 전진 참부모님, we are truly grateful that we gather together this morning again, centered on Dr. Yong. We receive the word of God, daily bread of today. Heavenly Parents, please the guide from beginning to end. Let us truly open our heart to receive your love, that with our true parents, the word, that at the same time, our Dr. Yong, putting his utmost to Johnson every day at his risk of his life, representing our the true parents, true father in the spirit world, true mother in Korea, and the giving us the true parents' words and the spiritual guidance. We are truly grateful. We have such the amazing opportunity every day. Please open our heart every day, and please give us the guidance that each one of us what we need, and we can go together the love of heavenly parents, to see the heavenly parents, the love and the life to the whoever we meet today, and also we can see the God in among in our family member, the husband and wife, and our children and our brothers and sisters, and we truly wants to resemble our true parents, and through your love and the guidance, please cleanse our heart, and the many the difficulties and the fallen natures in the past we couldn't overcome. This is the time that we can overcome through this the receiving the word of the God, at the same time and practicing the multiply your blessing, and also the word spreading the word of God. Please the bless the this nation through the New Life campaign, and we can give the life to the especially towards young people. At the same time, we really can grow as the true sons and daughters who bring the joy and the happiness, the return back to our heavenly parents and the true parents. Let us truly become the people who can liberate the heart of heavenly parents, and also the true parents, and let us become the people who can take the burden of our true mother. Please bless this the morning devotion report in the name of the John and Keiko King, blessed to the family, owner of Chongil Book, Aju.
Wow, thank you so much, Keiko-san from Canada. 감사합니다. Thank you.
Thank you for that beautiful prayer. Now let's go into our breakout rooms and share our appreciation points with one another, and we'll be back soon. Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I hope you enjoyed your breakout room. So first up, I would like to invite Alan Saunders to share with us this morning.
I'm sorry. We live in a very natural area, and every day we go for a walk around a lake. And we've been becoming more and more outgoing, speaking to people, especially talking to them through their dogs. We pet their dogs and we make a big fuss over their beautiful animals, and we really love animals. So, and then we strike up conversations. And in some cases, we've exchanged contact information. And it's just a way to love people through creation. And they're always so thrilled and flattered when we love them through their dogs. So that's my gratitude today.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm grateful to Heavenly Parents, to Jesus, to True Parents, to Dr. Yong for his efforts every single day of spending hours preparing for these morning devotions that I believe we're all getting a lot from. I'm grateful for our two sons, especially our eldest son has had a rebirth experience and has come very, very close to Jesus and goes to Christian churches and men's groups and really connects on a deep level. And I really believe we, especially this time of Easter, but all during the year, I think we have to really connect to Christianity, to connect to a deep heart of Jesus, to be able to really break through and inherit the Judeo-Christian foundation here in America. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you, the Alan and Sanders couple. 감사합니다. Recently I could not see your son. I miss him. Please take care of him very well. So thank you so much, Alan Sanders couple's beautiful sharing. 감사합니다.
Thank you for sharing with all of us. And next up, I would like to invite Yokoyama Michiko-san. If you could please unmute and share with us.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Yesterday, I and my husband visited St. Mark Orthodox Coptic Church. Coptic means they are Egyptian church. And last year, while we were visiting every church in my area, I met this church. And somehow they are very, very friendly. And we are Japanese, so we will stand out in the Egyptian congregation, but somehow they are so friendly. And their service is 2 hours long. Their Arabic and English translation is on the screen, and very, very ritual. And after that, there is an English service. Young people don't understand the language, so they provide English service. So yesterday we only attended the English service, but I wonder why they call Orthodox Church. But really the worship style is, I think, very close to really Orthodox, original, like a way of worshiping. That's why they call Orthodox. I really felt the Jesus spirit while we are attending the service. So I am very grateful to know this church. And there are 5 or 6 father priests, and they welcomed us. And one time this first lady came to our Zoom meeting. We have been doing a ACLC Pastor Forum every week, and she became one of our speakers last year. So I am very grateful to this church. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much, Michiko, Yokoyama-san. So Yuji-san today is very busy, ne?
No, Yuji-san is sick.
Sick. Okay, I see. Please take care of him well.
Thank
감사합니다. Thank you. Beautiful sharing. and for your outreach activities. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing with us this morning. And now for our main message, let us open up our minds and open up our hearts and welcome Dr. Chung-Shik Yong for Morning Heart Devotion.
안녕하세요. Good morning. My dear brothers and sisters, clergy and ambassadors for peace. 안녕하십니까? Yesterday, I had a really incredible experience. I attended the Sunday service and I gave the message after listening to the testimony from the members in our Belvedere churches. Wow, so many people came and crowded, and we need to prepare overflow room outside. I really appreciate again all our brothers and sisters who attended yesterday Sunday service. And Miran, he did great job as a district pastor, and Resh Fred and gave a beautiful our national goal presentation, and Justin as the Belvedere pastor. Wow, he's doing really great job. It was a good photo. And then I had a lunch meeting with the young leaders and had a question and answer session first time. So they are. I understood more through their question, and then they are struggling and what their main point. It was a very, very beautiful time. It was a good photo. And then I had a meeting with the Japanese Godan members, and we had a question answer session. But I'm so sorry I could not have much time to talk to them, one by one. So, but I really just gave short remarks and that hearing their question. And it was a really good time to see our beautiful Godan Japanese members. And it was a good photo. Our Reverend Ino Sesang couple always there. Thank you so much, all Japanese Godan members, for your hard work. Then I had a meeting with the ILSIM participants at the White House and blessed the house as a youth center. I did not know I was such young kids, many young kids are there. I did not know, but I was happy to see our young, our blessed child. Yes, it is a good photo. Today, I'd like to talk about the Hyo-Jin Nim and Heung-Jin Nim set a good example from True Mother's Anthology Book 1. Let's study.
Hyo-Jin Nim and Heung-Jin Nim set a good example. You should exhibit the talents you were born with in every field. If you can thus bear beautiful fruits in the culture of the Unification Church, my meeting and talking with you today will have been more than worthwhile. You need to know the heart of our Heavenly Parent who has sought after his lost children for 6,000 years. I hope you will be a source of comfort to me. The elder brothers you should establish at your center are Hyo-Jin and Heung-Jin. Heung-Jin passed away first. He was the son who took a risk at such a young age to protect True Father in the name of the Cold War. He was the son who more than anyone else tried to protect true parents. In the Cold War era, Korea faced the threat of being communized. At the time, True Father held a national victory over communism rally to protect the country. On the last day of the rally, there were many members who had been offering devotions and prayers, and they said to True Father, it is very dangerous. The communists have made a plan, so you should not speak at the rally. However, did True Father ever compromise with the world? I should share a secret with you. When True Father delivered the speech, he had a diamond pin on his necktie, but he lost it. I guess Satan was not satisfied with that. Heung-Jin, who was in America at the time, was in a car accident. Since he was the one driving, there was a way for him to survive that accident. However, he thought of the second generation member sitting next to him, so he turned the steering wheel the other way. Through the spontaneous action of a mere moment, he saved a brother, and that is why he is now working in the spirit world as its commander-in-chief. You have two proud elder brothers before you. You need to fulfill your responsibility in your respective fields to finish what they could not realize on earth, and stay healthy and become beacons to the world. You need to light up the world. You are the pure water born for the first time in 6,000 years. Pure water must not become muddy water. In order not to become muddy water, you need to keep on flowing. By flowing, I mean that you need to keep on developing. In this way, you need to not only stay healthy, but also grow in every aspect, including in your heart and in your faith.
Yes, thank you. True Mother said that the elder brothers you should establish at your center are Hyo-Jin and Heung-Jin. Heung-Jin passed away first. He was the son who took a risk at such a young age to protect true father in the time of Cold War. He was the son who, more than anyone else, tried to protect true parents. And then also Mother saying, when Heung-Jin got into an accident because he turned to the steering wheel the other way to protect a second generation, he had no choice but to die. In an environment where everyone has no choice but to die together, we instinctively try to protect ourselves first. So in a position where one can save people in the same situation from a certain death situation, you quickly see whether he is a person who lives for the sake of others or someone who tries to save themselves first. We must always live modeling Heung-Jin, who went as a sacrifice for true parents. You have two proud elder brothers before you. You need to fulfill your responsibility in your respective fields to finish what they could not realize on earth, Mother saying. And stay healthy and then, become beacons to the world. You need to light up the world. So whenever I hear about the Heung-Jin-nim's of the story and also Hyo-Jin-nim's story, wow. So now true parents officially recognize them as the westward elder son position and then, second son position as a Cain and Abel. True Mother clearly set up the system at Cheongpyeong. So all our entire movement need to follow True Mother's direction. A living divine principle, and I'd like to talk again. God's third blessing is perfection of dominion. Let's study EDP first.
God's third blessing, perfection of dominion. The meaning of God's third blessing is the perfection of a human being's dominion over the natural world. To fulfill this blessing, human beings and the natural world should become completely one, thereby establishing a God-centered four-position foundation of dominion. Ideal human beings receive stimulation from the natural world. Sensing their own internal nature and external form displayed throughout the creation, they feel immense joy. God also feels joy when he experiences the stimulation of his original internal nature and original external form from the universe that has become his third object partner through the harmonious union of human beings and the natural world. Therefore, when human beings realize God's third blessing, the entire universe becomes yet another good object partner, giving joy to God. Had God's purpose of creation been realized in this way, an ideal world without even a trace of sin would have been established on earth. We call this world the kingdom of heaven on earth. When life in the kingdom of heaven on earth comes to a close, people are to enter the spirit world and naturally enjoy eternal life in the kingdom of heaven there. In the kingdom of heaven, God's direction will be conveyed to all his children through the true parents of humankind, guiding everyone to live as one.
Yes, based on this EDP content, let's study Father's word.
Manage creation publicly. The sun is the origin of life and holds infinite value. We are receiving the sun's light for free. Have you seen a person who prepares money to buy the sun's light? Also, have you seen anyone give even a single cent for having received sunlight? If sunlight would be sold, would you buy it or not? You'd buy it even if you gave your body. Water, air, light, all these natural objects do not belong to any individual. Anyone who thinks creation belongs to himself is a thief.
Yeah, they treat all things as God's belonging. So manage all things as all people's. Know of all things as public. Sin is thinking of all possessions are one's own and then mistreating them. That is the problem, my brothers and sisters. So I really, appreciate Father's sharing. When you're dealing with each item of all things, you need to think that, each one of the item of all things already touched by God's hand. And then I am the one who now can dealing with each item of the all things. When true Father touched something and somebody gave it to you, how precious it is. If Jesus' clothes still remain and then you keep it, and then how precious it is. Same things. Whenever we touch it and dealing with any old things, already thinking that God already touched by his hand. So I am the one who really managed it very well. And then everything is actually God's belonging. Everything is public. Everything, all people's. We need to have this kind of attitude as the owner of the, all things. And then you have a qualification to become, to dominate the all things. Therefore, through the word of the principle, it is necessary to thoroughly educate fallen humans with a view of all things, centering on God, and then also view of life, centering on God. The air, the sun, the water are like God's love for man. You cannot live for a moment without them. How grateful are we to our Heavenly Parents who gave us these things? People who are not grateful for everything, take everything that exists for granted. That's why we always need to appreciate, just wake up, wow, very fresh air. I wake up, I can have a meal. Many people could not have a meal, but I can have a meal, I can walk, I can deal with this and that. Everything actually is so much grateful and thankful to our Heavenly Parents. If we have that kind of heart of appreciation, whatever we do, wow, our life is very much rich and very much powerful, very much inspiring, and then we can overcome any kind of the trials. That's why, our daily life, one of the important point is what? How to appreciate, not just only take it for granted. Next content.
To receive the cooperation of the spirit world and God. What do you have to do to receive God's cooperation? If human beings had become complete, we would have ruled over the archangel and all creation. After ruling over the archangel and creation, then for the first time, God takes dominion. God interferes. Isn't it so? This is the principle. Therefore, For the Unification Church believers to receive the cooperation of the spirit world, you have to stand in the position to receive respect from the angelic world and all creation. When becoming like that, then for the first time, God rules and can interfere. This is the principle.
Yeah, Father mentioned very important thing. What do you have to receive God's cooperation? If human beings had become complete, we would have ruled over the archangel and all creation. When human beings overcome the archangel's test at the completion stage, and they are given the authority to rule over the archangel and rule over all things. When human beings have the ability to rule the archangel and the rule over all things, they enter into realm of God's direct dominion. Therefore, for the Unification Church believers to receive to cooperation of the spiritual world, you have to stand in the position to receive respect from the archangelic world and all creation. If anyone goes beyond the top of the gross stage and stand in the control of the angels and all things, no matter where he goes, the spiritual world will appear first, testify, and cooperate. Here is the main point, when Adam and Eve grow and pass through formation stage and growth stage, when they reach at the top of the growth stage, surely, absolutely, archangel test come. When your children growing and become 13, 14, and then really the very sensitive age become 17, 18 years old, many kind of the temptation will come. But as a human being, when Adam and Eve grew up, until that age, at the top of the growth stage, they need to overcome that kind of temptation, archangel's test. God never gave about the responsibility to archangel. Only human being have our portion of responsibility, our human being. We are the one who need to overcome archangel test. This is very important. That's why anyone do not overcome your chapter 2, especially you do not know how to handling your physical desires, then you don't have a qualification to control archangel. At the same time, you cannot control the all things. So in order to have the authority to control of the all things, your portion of responsibility, you need to overcome archangel's temptation. So without overcoming the temptation of love, you no qualification to control all things. And then as the owner of the all things, you should be better, your spiritual level better than all things. And then all things, the level is at the top of the growth stage, to rule over archangel, and then all things, your position as the owner of of God, as the son of God, your position need to surpass more than archangel, more than all things. Otherwise, how can you become the owner of all things? That's why, my brothers and sisters, final things, how to overcome my physical desires. If you can control and dominate my physical desires very well and become the owner of love, you have qualification to become the owner of all things. Then, Father saying that automatically spiritual world cooperate with you, always helping you. Wherever you go, spiritual world can testify you who you are. Next content.
Human beings have to become divine spirits. Up until now in the fallen world, your mind has been the archangel level, under completion of growth stage. But after entering the Unification Church, did you feel a powerful force which you yourself could not comprehend? Before the fall of man, it was possible to see angels and God. So you have had such experiences. You have to be able to enter such a world now. For this, what must be done? You have to be able to love this world. The conclusion that you have to be able to dominate all creation and even the angelic world comes out. Human beings have to become divine spirit.
Thank you. The portion of the people in the fallen world are all below the archangel level. Wow, you are such a famous guy, famous professor. You received the Nobel Prize. Wow, you are morally such high standard. However, my brothers and sisters, the portion of the people in the fallen world, no matter how much a famous guy you are, all of them are below the archangel level, under the top of the gross stage, my brothers and sisters. That is, it is at the level below, level of the top of the gross stage. Before Adam and Eve fell, they could see angels, and then also can see God and communicate with God. However, unless humans experience a spiritual rebirth after the fall, they cannot enter the world where they can feel God and can give and take with God and can see angels. So how do we enter the world? How we enter that kind of world? First, we must protect and love all things more than anyone else. And love the world and people more than anyone else. That is, our spirit must become a human being of the divine spirit. My brothers and sisters, what is our final goal? How to reach it to divine spirit. Not forming spirit, not a life spirit. Our final goal is divine spirit. Even all things 경배 to you, bow down to you. Even archangel bow down to you, saying that you are my owner. You are my master. In terms of the spiritual quality, in terms of the even external position, wow, you are really deserve to receive my respect. You are truly my owner. Not by force, by really true love. How can we reach that kind of level of the divine spirit, my brothers and sisters? But divine spirit, I am telling you, divine spirit, very important that many people ask the question. Formation stage, we are forming spirit, right? And growth stage, we have a life spirit, right? And then when we reach perfection is what? Divine spirit. When can complete our divine spirit? Not by alone. Divine spirit. And when you completely establish, ideal family, you experience the 4 great realms of heart and 3 great kingship, and then at the same time, your spirit become divine spirit. At the same time, your family reach to the perfection. Divine spirit. You cannot be divine spirit by your alone. You need to have help from your brothers and sisters, from your children, from your siblings, and from your parents. And then we can reach it, divine spirit. And today's youth ministry, I'd like to talk again, one-on-one divine principle education. So let's study Father's word first.
Read the principle every day. I want to ask you how much you love the principle. It is something that I have spent my life to find, melting my bone marrow. Even if you were to memorize it hundreds and thousands of times, there is no way to pay back for its contents, yet you just put it on a shelf and read a novel instead. Do you get involved in the trivial affairs of the neighboring villages? Do you go around and have a good time? I have not walked such a path. Before heaven, there is nothing that I am doing now that goes against my conscience. And because I am in the position to do such things, I am doing them. Yet, those who are unworthy and immature Can they do their mission only after doing all the things that please them first? Never. You have to understand that you need to be trained and educated.
Yeah. The word of the divine principle is the content of eternal truth found for the first time in 6,000 years. So reading and rereading and reading 100 times and 1,000 times is not enough, Father said, in order to discover divine principle. How much Heavenly Father paid the indemnity. Even our true Father, how much he gone through incredible sacrifice and indemnity condition. How much really you treat the divine principle as such a precious eternal truth. Without giving a life to the word, there is no way to resurrect our heart. To what extent do you study principles? How many times have you read it? We have to return to the word. We have to go back to the place where we miss the word and receive grace when we join the our unification movement. Through the word, we have known God and true parents, the spiritual world, and Satan and our life. I joined the Unification Church because of you also joined Unification Church because of the God's word. So why do we need to read the word of divine principle more than 100 times or 1,000 times? Because principles are not just only eternal truths, but principles are God's love, life, and eternal nourishment. Therefore, the more you read the word of the principle, the more you will consume God's love. As most people always eat the same meal 3 times a day, it is always the same word for our spiritual body, but we have to continue to consume it, thinking it is God's love. So those who value and love the word and must pass it on to those who around them. Next content.
Although you claim that you have learned the principle, you throw it away in the back room and go on your way. Your life and the principle totally separate from each other. They have not become one. Isn't this so? Do you think that you can do witnessing in the present state? It won't work. It won't. Because God is not with you. What you are doing is fake. You have to do it according to the principle. Ladies and gentlemen, when you look at the principle book, there you can find the heart of God of the 6,000 years. You can find the history of my conflict in which I have shed blood all of my life. There is an abundant amount of content that you are not aware of.
Continue.
As you flip through each page of the principle book with such background, have you ever memorized it with the mindset that there you can find some ladder that can connect you to find the heart of God? Underlining them, have you ever thought about what kind of history lies behind each phrase? All of you, just put the principle book on your shelves. And do you read the principle book every day? Those of you who read it every day, please raise your hand. You, all of you, are a group of hooligans. So you complain that God is not helping you. For this reason, I have no choice but to make a new system. From now on, you have to reform all of your ways. This shows that you do not realize how sacred the works of clergymen who live for God are.
Yes. The reason our spirit body cannot grow today is because we only know principles conceptually and superficially. Some people know the principle only in their head and only intellectually. If you truly know and understand principle, your life will change. Unimaginable feeling of gratitude flows in. seeing no change and no growth in my life so far, I am concluded that it is because I know the principle only superficially, externally. If you truly know and understand principle, you will inevitably grow and develop and multiply. And God's heart for 6,000 years is contained in the principle. As you read the divine principle, you must God's heart. You can know God's heart and feel God's 심정. My brothers and sisters, how much do you believe in divine principle? How much do I believe in divine principle? This is a really eternal truth. If you truly understand divine principle, and what is the outcome? What is the outcome? If you truly understand divine principle, what is the outcome? First of all, surely, absolutely, your life will be changed. Absolutely. Huh? So divine principle does not operate, does not work in my heart with my spirit. That means my understanding of divine principle is something lacking. Just only understanding intellectually or just conceptually, my brothers and sisters. That's why. If divine principle is eternal truth, this is really God's love, this is really God's love. Anyone listen divine principle should be changed their entire life. I truly believe in that. Truly. That's why anyone listen divine principle, those who are really, they are thirsty to searching for eternal truth. They really want to find the purpose of their life. And anyone really listen divine principle, this is really eternal truth. Everybody, without exception, they can have life-changing experience. My brothers and sisters, not just only life-changing experience, surely we can grow up very, very well. So I think that's why I think, we really, each word, each sentence of the divine principle, always we need to think how to apply a divine principle, how can become, one part of my life. We really seriously think about that. One-on-one divine principle education application method one. Of course, there are many ways, but I'd like to introduce some way. The first method is to have time to study the 1 hour manual of the EDP. If we're using original book and or even 10 hours the lecture manual, it took a long time. But I think first of all, I think everybody can simply use the 1 hour manual of EDP. Before going to bed and when wake up in the morning, pray for the witnessing guests. Pray specifically about who you will be today or tomorrow, at what time, on what days, and on a certain subject. Before studying the divine principle, it is good to show a video introducing the entire our unification movement. This is very important because to explain the entire content of the divine principle, it took a long time. But they want to see something overview. What is the unification movement? The reason for showing the introduction video of the church is to show once again how vast and great what true parents are doing. If the witnessing guest engraves the image of true parents in their heart, they can experience meeting true parents in a dream or spiritually while studying the divine principle together. That's why, God sent true parents after going through 6,000 years in indemnity. That's why their entire ancestors really concerned who are the Messiah, who are the true parents. But through the showing the video, they can see who are true parents. Then they have some kind of about the imagine that they can the image some about true parents of faith, and then our members, spiritual father and mother, pray for him, and then let that person's ancestor can mobilize you and then help him. It is really working, my brothers and sisters, by introducing true parents of family and also saving the movement, world mission, world peace movement, and the interreligious movement or consensus can be formed so that they can study divine principle. You can introduce a way to study divine principle, the method of connecting online and studying through the divine principle lecturer, the method of directly listening to the divine principle with a PowerPoint, the method of studying the divine principle one-on-one with the divine principle textbook. If you teach witnessing guests while reading the divine principle one-on-one, when the guests join the church, they will teach their witnessing guests in the same way they learn from their spiritual parents. Occasionally, the witnessing guest may come from someone with a high social status or with knowledge and virtue, according to the experience of those who have been through the one-on-one divine principle education. They say that they hardly met a person who refused. Most of them, okay, I have time, let's study, something like that. So you will experience all people being obedient under the authority of the true parents who are the saviors recognized by the spiritual world and God. And it tells us that the method of the one-on-one divine principle education is the method suggested by the founder, Sun Myung-moon. Then you will have more authority. So just you say that when you witness your own professor or your own teachers or more someone position more higher than you, and then when you suggest that let's study one-on-one divine principle education, maybe you are hesitating to tell. But that time you need to use that. Our founder Sun Myung-moon, this famous man, religious leader, he's the one who suggested this kind of the way of education, one-on-one divine principle education. So using true father's name, using true parents' name, and then you can have more authority to convince your guest, my brothers and sisters. Today, let's invite our Takayo again, who is an exemplary CAV activity at the Columbia Church in New York. And she gave a very beautiful presentation last 2 days. I was inspired. I got a many kind of the response from here and there. Many people really appreciate our Takayo's about a clear explanation in detail. And then we can have time to study together about campus witnessing and one-on-one divine principle witnessing method. Let's invite our beautiful girl, our heavenly daughter, our Takayo.
Good morning, Dr. Yong and brothers and sisters. Thank you for this opportunity once again. Today, or yesterday, we went over the first step, which is to approach with a survey. And today, we will go to the second step. After the survey, we introduce divine principle with this introduction sheet. So yes, let's get to it. This is what the DP intro sheet looks like. This covers the general content of the introduction to the divine principle from pages 1 to 13. So as you can see from this DP intro sheet, you can see that it addresses the contradiction that human beings have, the original mind and the evil mind. And also it talks about the internal ignorance and external ignorance, and internal truth and external truth. And more importantly, it talks about the mission of the new truth and the need for the new truth. And at the end, it concludes with saying God has sent one person to this earth to resolve the fundamental problems of human life and the universe. His name is Reverend Sun Myung-moon. So this last part is the most important part of this DP intro sheet. Why do we make a direct introduction to True Father? The main point is that this when the guests are introduced to divine principle through this, it is a test or a way to gauge the person's preparedness. And some people will totally look over this part about True Father. Others might be really curious, and some will be disturbed by this last part, saying that God has sent one person to this earth to resolve the fundamental problems. However, the key is whether they agreed to study divine principle or not after reading this part. And then we know that they are truly prepared. Our time is too precious to spend days and months investing into somebody only to lose them once they find out that we're from the Unification Church or that we're with Reverend Moon. Therefore, we established this test of preparedness so that we can gauge the guest's preparedness. So yes, now we'll go into some key points for introducing the guest with the divine principle using this sheet. So step number 1, please have him or her read the introduction out loud if possible. So after the survey, you can thank them for taking the survey, taking their time, and you can have this paper out and say the reason why that we're doing the survey is because we have a study group where we study from a book called Divine Principle, which gives a perspective on the answers to these questions that we just asked. And this is the introduction to divine principle. Could you please read out loud if you can, and you hand it to them. And after reading, please listen to their reflections and thoughts and any questions that they have. And many times they agree with the contradiction part and the happiness part, the reconciling of religion and science. But yes, at the very end, the most common question that we are getting is, who is this Reverend Samyang Moon? So goes into step number 2. Please briefly introduce Reverend Moon and ask the person, yes, for questions or comments. So yes, please, we'll kind of go over what point to explain about True Father at the very end of today. But after introducing Reverend Moon and listening to their reflections and comments, questions, you can let them know that if you are interested, we invite you to study to this content with us. However, as a witnesser, if you're not a student on a campus, please don't mention the name of CARP at this moment. Just mention that you are having a personal study group and you want to study with the student. Yes. And the third point, invite them to study divine principle. Ask if you can see them again at the same place and the same time, if possible. So please ask about their schedule and see if they can see you again for even just 15 or 30 minutes at the same place at the same time again. If that doesn't work, then ask when is a convenient time for them. And as you need to get to know the guest well, you should see one person at a time. So please don't double book. I don't know if that's a phrase in English. Okay, yeah. And then make sure that when you exchange your contact information, a phone number is better or best. And please don't think, oh, I received the person's contact information, so I'll set an appointment with them later. Please don't, instead of thinking like that, you can try to set a clear date and time at the time that you meet them and that moment. And this way you're declaring to the spirit world when you do this. Yes, so now I want to share briefly about the point of introducing True Father. So in the 3-hour Divine Principle lecture manual, at the very beginning of the part, it has a short introduction of True Parents Life Course. And the content here is basically how we introduce True Father when they ask like, oh, who is True Father? Or who is Reverend Samyang Moon? It mainly talks about True Father's background in Korea, born in North Korea, where the Japanese people were occupying Korea. And True Father were asking the same exact questions that are written here to God. And we share with them about the experience True Father had with Jesus. And at the end, True Father's really commitment and calling that he received to discover the truth, which is the divine principle, and we share, introduce True Father in that way. So please, if you have time, read the 3-hour Divine Principle lecture manual, and especially this introduction part. Yes, and our few last points. Our guests are our mirrors. So how the guest receives this part about True Father really reflects our personal relationship with true parents. The deeper we understand about true parents and have conviction in true parents that they are the second coming of the Messiah, the more responsive your guest will be. So at the same time that we are trying to gauge if they are prepared or not, we need to look, more important is that we look internally into our own lives of faith. So we cannot judge this person for not being responsive. We need to repent to God on behalf of this person. And we need to judge ourselves and make effort to grow our personal relationship and understanding of true parents' identity and deepen our love and our longing for true parents. So this is a really good opportunity to see where you are at in your life of faith and an opportunity to grow. So yes, congratulations. Hopefully this was helpful. Step number 2, this introducing Divine Principle with the intro sheet. And tomorrow we will continue with the actual one-on-one Divine Principle reading once you make an appointment. So
Wow.
thank you so much.
Wow, Takayo. Thank you. Beautiful presentation, simple but very clear. 감사합니다. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Takayo. And thank you, Dr. Yong, for your beautiful message this morning. So now let us go into our breakout sessions and share our reflections and takeaways with one another from today's sermon. See you back soon. Welcome back, family. I hope you enjoyed your breakout. I know I enjoyed mine. So first, I would like to invite up Uncle Paul Konarski. If you could please unmute and share. Uncle Paul?
Yeah, I'm trying to unmute. Am I unmuted now?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I guess I shared basically, I feel like my brain is being scrambled every day, especially it's every day is a new beginning. I mean, I have to really place more importance, I guess, on the principle itself. In my life, actually, the principle has only been like to bring me to true parents. And after that, then I stayed with true parents. But now it's placing a lot more relevance on the fact that I really learned divine principle. Wow. And I'm not really, I still look at it as a door really leading to true parents and being there. But I've gained so much from Dr. Yong, but I still don't really know what the principle really is per se. You know, it's like somehow becoming one with the word, and I'm not, I guess I really need to work at that a lot. And I really appreciate my grandchildren because it brings back the 4 kingdoms and the three kingships. Wow. I learn more from my grandchildren than anybody. Yeah. Learn what a blank sheet they are and how quickly they can be molded and how quickly they have energized. And I hope actually to lead them more than I actually did my second gen. But I really appreciate the second gen and all they've done. And I truly appreciate, Dr. Yong, all your work that you put into each and every one of us every day.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, Saint Paul in the era of the 천일국. So just now I see here, you visited the Jardine farm and then took photo of your true parents. It is a really incredible photo. Wow, you love true parents so much. Thank you, Paul Konarski. 감사합니다.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Uncle Paul. And next up, I would like to invite on Arlene Candelaresi. If you could please unmute and share.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Anyways, I was with Milhan, and I also was talking about the divine principle, and from today I really felt a desire to start reading divine principle again. My husband often read divine principle, but recently I've been reading all the different books, and I'm really glad to be reading those books. But I feel also that having divine principle constantly in my life is really, you grow in it's a different kind of thing. It's like the truth and the heart. Somehow Father's other speeches are kind of the heart or the flesh on the bones, but divine principle is really the bones of things, the center of things. So I'm glad to be reminded of that and to study that again.
Okay, thank you so much, Arlene. 감사합니다. Thank you. Also, beautiful your smile. I love your smile. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing on Arlene. And now for our friendly reminders. Number 1 is to invite someone from your Trinity, someone from your family or community, and you'll be glad that you did. And number 2, joyfully give from your heart. Offer a song, offer a prayer to see how God may inspire you to offer a little bit more for our morning devotion. And there's a link in the chat as well if you would like to give from your heart for morning devotion, just a little bit more. And now for our musical offering, I'd like to invite up Dr. Gilda Price.
Oh.
Dr. Gilda Price.
I am here.
Wow, Dr. Gilda, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. How are you?
I am fine, thank you, Dr. Young. It's just that I had such a good time yesterday that I forgot about this time this morning. Oh boy. So I am supposed to be singing. I thought it was tomorrow, so forgive me, but
I see.
I'm going to I didn't even have my book where I could find my songbook, that I am very, Father would be really disappointed this morning. I am unprepared. Never, never, never.
I think anyway, it's okay because you misunderstood your turn is tomorrow. So
Yes.
it's okay. I think Dr. Gilda, I think you never mind. You can sing a song tomorrow, no problem.
Okay, I thank you. I would appreciate that.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Dr. Young, to disappoint you like this.
Okay.
No, that's not right. Oh, I'm sorry.
No problem. That is also our mistake. Anyway, thank you so much about Dr. Gilda, Rebecca. Then someone need to closing prayer and then finish.
Okay. I would like to invite up, let's see, Ivan or Christine Lozano to pray for us.
Thank you. Please join me in prayer, brothers and sisters. Dearest Heavenly Parent, thank you again for this opportunity to gather together as a family to be able to learn and receive the message from Dr. Young and your love through him also. Dearest Heavenly Parent, I know that we all have listened to the divine principle and that we all understand intellectually that throughout our life of faith, we will have challenges and difficulties that we will need to overcome. And the secret in being able to overcome them is within the divine principle. And I pray that we can continue to learn and grow and study so that we are able to recognize the challenges that come our way and we can continue to overcome and grow closer to your heart. Dearest Heavenly Parent, I know that we sometimes struggle to make that artistic connection with you and with your word. And we also sometimes struggle to understand true parents' difficulty in being able to give us this new truth. And I pray that as we continue to spend time with each other and listening to Dr. Young and reading from True Mother's memoirs or reading True Father's words, that we can continue to cultivate our hearts so that we can continue the process of growth and liberation of your heart as well. Please be with all of us here. Please help us have a good day today so that we can continue to take care of each other and take care of your heart also. I pray that all of us can continue to stay healthy and continue to be here for each other and really care and love and nurture each other's not only spiritual growth, but taking care of each other physically as well. I pray this in the name of the Lozano Blessed Center family and all the families gathered here. Aju.
Aju, wow, thank you so much, Ivan and Christine Rodano couple. Always you husband and wife really join together, attend the morning devotion. This is really amazing. Thank you once again, Ivan's for your beautiful prayer. 감사합니다. God bless you.
Thank you so much for that beautiful prayer. And thank you everyone for attending Morning Heart Devotion. Hope to see you all tomorrow. Have a great day.
Have a nice Monday.
you.